Well, welcome to everyone, whether you're watching live today, we're just streaming to Facebook now, or you're watching in the future via our YouTube channel. My name's Tony Fanfuller with eXp Realty in Australia, and with me today is one of our top agents, Dee Mangion from Mackay in Queensland, sort of mid-coast Queensland, halfway up the coast. And Dee also dabbles in a bit of Victoria. So Dee is quite an experienced agent, has been with eXp since February 21. So long enough to know probably everything there is to know about eXp, but we'll find out from Dee today. Dee has recently iconed for the second time, Dee, that's right?
Yeah.
Yes, so two times icon. So icon is the highest accolade globally that any agent can achieve with eXp. So to have done that twice is certainly a significant achievement for Dee, and certainly something that, you know, many of the agents around Australia look to Dee and look up to Dee for advice and information about what she's doing in her market. Her market is as you may know, right, Mackay is a regional market. She focuses in an area called Slade Point, which is a lovely spot right on the beach. So there and surrounds, and as I said, a little bit in Victoria, which we might talk about with Dee about today, is to, as my video drops out, we talked about problems, didn't we? We're going to look to find out as much as we can from...
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, well, it's just decided to change cameras.
It's
so
an
that's
eXp thing.
It is. So we're going to find out as much as we can today from Dee about just her background and where she came from. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dee.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So one of the first things I wanted to ask is just going back to before you were with eXp, what was going on for you at that point in time, and what motivated you to join eXp?
Something was on the cards to find a model where you could work independently. Probably best to use the term work for yourself, but not by yourself. There were a few models I spent a couple of years looking at. Apart from that, I worked in a local office. So I started 2010, and I worked in a local office that was quite good. That was for about 9 months. But I don't think I've ever really connected to an office environment. I have always been the entrepreneur. And so I've really always worked for myself apart from my teen years. So getting married quite young, and then, you know, doing the mum thing, and then off onto business courses, and always creating. So for me personally, especially back then, things have changed a little bit, you know, since the internet. But yeah, so I was there for about 9 years, and then there was a local agent who was doing his own thing. He branched out on his own, and then he was looking for agents, and you had to be fully licensed. So I got my license, and then off I went. So there was only a few of us, but it was totally different. You didn't have the normal office split. So you get a taste of that, and then you go back to an office split. It's never going to be comfortable. So anyway, as it happens, so I've worked in a number of offices. I have bounced in and out, sort of last a couple of years, but I was probably an independent there. It could have been about 4 years back, like 2010, 11 to whatever. Then we also hit a severe downturn here in Mackay. So that did have an impact, a lot of agents leaving the industry. I hung in there. It was bread and butter for some time, credit card, living off that. But anyway, I do love the industry. And so really for me, it hasn't, the office environment and all that structure doesn't work for me. So I didn't really have the flow. Having the creative side where you like to do more or less your own thing, it becomes restricting. So I find, you know, having to ask for permission. We have just guidelines within eXp, of course, but, you know, it's sensible, and why wouldn't you? Everything is so good that we get from there that you can still combine it with what you're doing. And of course, then we have agents who are independently still working with their own brand. For me, I chose at the moment, it could change in the future. I work and I promote myself under eXp. Lifestyle Properties Mackay is only a slogan because it's what I'm always about. I've always been about the lifestyle, and that's it. So yeah, so I did the few office stints, and then COVID hit, and then I was still in an office there, and everyone was really scared the world was going to end. And I was at a point there where I really knew I didn't want to be where I was. And so I looked at two other models, and then it was eXp that I chose. What I think the key thing and why I chose eXp was I did my homework on it, and I had actually been approached by phone willy-nilly from someone. I had no idea really who they were. And then I saw some posts go through on socials, and I was sent a link, and then I saw another post, and of course, that was Lisa B. Lisa B. And anyway, whatever I did, and I reached out, and I thought, well, it's going to be now or never. And still not trusting that it was the right model. And but what I do remember, my background on that is she actually called me. She didn't flick me. I gave my details. She didn't flick me a link. She talked to me, and I remember it was a weekend, and I think we had 2 sessions, and she gave me so much time. So that impressed me. That is a big thing for me, people service, and hence why I'm very personal in my work with my real estate. And okay, so she was telling me how wonderful it was, but of course, I'm still a little bit cautious and thinking, well, of course, you're going to tell me so wonderful. Who else works in eXp? So, long story short, I then got on the phone and contacted Chris Jansen and Bjorn Kunzel. So, you're talking 4 years ago. So we didn't have as many agents as what we do now. And they too gave me so much time, in the car, taking the kids to school. They were so passionate about it. Then I watched some of their videos where, as we know, Chris worked for a well-known brand, was high up there. He had no reason, to leave. He was quite successful there, and so was Bjorn. And but I was just so impressed their energy and how enthusiastic they were. But the time, even just the discussions they had with me, there was it was obvious there was genuine care. Now, whether I started or not made no difference to them. They weren't, we will get into, we have rev share. So if you introduce people to the business, it is ongoing, which is fabulous for anyone looking at planning retirement. And yeah, so then I signed up.
Fantastic. When you say you were one of the early ones, I think I was, when looking up your anniversary date, I think you were number 100 on the dot.
I
Was
like
your
that number.
you were so you
No
were
one's
and
told me. No one's
it
told me that.
no well that's what it says, and it's interesting. While I mentioned that 100, I've got something I'm going to put in the post to you very soon, and
Oh, another one. I got my icon one. Yeah.
this one, and you might not be able to make it out, but this one has written on it 100 sales. So
Okay, very
you
good.
have, and you're one of a very elite group that have passed 100 sales with eXp, and you did that just recently. And I think there's probably about, I don't know, 8 or 9 people that are in that group. So
There you go.
certainly the people like Chris and Bjorn, who you mentioned, have been around in that sort of time frame. But so congratulations for that, and you'll get that in the
Thank
post
you.
soon.
Yeah, and
So
we will have to pick that up, because that's a really good example how I would love anyone that's watching this and is thinking, I want to work independently, or I'm not going to make my retirement. There's a few little things that we should talk about there.
Yeah, well, that's certainly the options that you have in the model that we'll talk about. What we'll talk about rev share now, then, if you'd like, because I know it's one of the questions we had and we discussed. So, and you're talking about your retirement, and you, like I, are probably closer to the end than the start
Mhm.
when it comes to our careers. So when you're looking at EXP, and we all know that we can sell a house, service our clients, make a commission. But talk to us about the other ways that you've explored and you've found that can reward you and help you build for your retirement?
Okay, well, sort of taking a step back. So for myself personally, 4 years with eXp, so that meant it was a decade or so. You lose the first year because I had no idea how you even got paid in real estate. I just knew I was passionate about interior design, home styling. I was always searching properties, wanted to buy investment property, and that was it. So when I moved to Mackay, I knew one person. So wanting to start real estate, knowing one person and nothing about the industry, that was challenging. And anyway, um, so what I found is that over the time, and if we go back 4 years, I had spent so many years in the industry, getting, my commission splits with the office, very, very little superannuation accumulating. Then you throw in the downturn. So this is, I suppose a personal level for anyone who's continued working in Mackay market. And so we had, years where it took you 6 months to sell a property. Psychologically, it wrecked you too, because you were working with people who were losing 200,000-300,000 from when they bought in the boom.
Mm.
So obviously income was low. And then you always have that division, as you know, you're going to have your high achievers. And in Mackay, it would be people who've lived here a long time, and then some are driven more than others. So there's always a division in age with agents' numbers on how their performance is, but to each his own. So with that, so for me, I have never been the 100 a year salesperson. And but when I moved across to eXp, I only brought across, I had 3 listings when I started. So I easily saw, and at that point when I said enough's enough, I've got to just believe in myself and do this. I can't remember where my super was, but it was definitely, I don't think there was even a year's income. So, and remember, I have always been self-employed, so I don't have a background of working for people. And I thought, where's my future going? And I honestly say to you, and I will not never forget the moment, at a corner desk in a small room, and I just got in that morning, a few things happened, pushed that chair back, and I said, I'm out of here. What is my future? I'm not doing this for 10 years. Otherwise, I have to move to something else. So that was it. And so everyone told me that I was crazy because I had just had my 60th birthday then. So who leaves security, whatever, in an office environment at 60, plus you're still at, going through COVID. So anyway, they say, dare to be different. Well, anyway, so I thought, well, what have I got to lose? What have I got to gain? If it didn't work out, I could always go back to an office somewhere. Someone will take you, and that was really it. So I came across with 3 listings. I didn't really fully understand. I'm not money driven. But I'll set myself little goals. And the thing if I compare in eXp, well, okay, I heard about this rev share and I heard about capping. The capping stood out because 100% commission, your ears go bang,
Yep.
what's it going to take? So I really lost traction and time in my first year because I didn't really put enough care and focus. I was just wanting to survive, let alone the numbers. And I thought if I get listings, it'll all happen, And then of course, so I did cap, which, it took me probably 6 months or so, I think, and this is the whole thing. There's agents that could do that, in 2 weeks here, or
Yes.
even a week, some of them. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I didn't really grasp it. And then I blew my next year with Icon too, because I was confused on how the numbers all added up.
Yep.
So with that side of it, there is gradually my work, it did increase. Why did it increase? I felt free. There was no one clipping my wings. I could do whatever I liked just about on social media. I mean, I'm sensible enough, to do the right thing for myself, my clients, and whoever I'm working with. So I think that energy creates that, energy. You just get, and there's a synergy within the XP. And if I really could spread my time and my brain into really tapping into everything eXp offers us, whoa, who knows where it'd be. But Yeah, so really, that was the thing. The first year then, so I've capped each year. So each year I've had the opportunity to earn 100% commission, and each year it's reduced. Last year, I think it was just under 4 months, or maybe just over 3 months that I capped.
Mhm.
At the moment, I been a bit slow because I've been spending so much time away. But I'm probably, my anniversary started the 1st of March, but with these settlements, I'm probably halfway to capping.
Mhm.
Um, but then I go away again in June, so I've really got to get to work, don't I?
But look, what I can hear is what this is giving you is this ability to go away. I know you had a wonderful holiday in Europe and visiting family in England and that over the Christmas break. And just for those watching, we talk about things that we understand, like the word capping. So for those that just don't understand, so we have a one step in our commission. It's a 75-25 split to the agent up to 100,000, and then 100% split to the agent after 100,000 gross commission in their anniversary year. So Dee just talked about her year starts 1st of March, I think you said.
Yeah.
Here we are in April, middle of April. So her year started 6 weeks ago. So whatever settlements have happened since that year started, when it reaches 100,000, decaps and moves to 100% commission until the 1st of March next year. So as she mentioned, agents, we have had agents cap in 5 or 6 weeks. So they enjoy the remainder of the year just at 100% commission. And it stands out to me how brave you were to make that decision when you did, and push the desk back and get up and move. And the other thing that screams out is just how much freedom you have. And I think, would you say a work-life balance now than more than ever before?
Yeah, it's not just the life balance, it's just with that
Mm.
freedom, you're running your own business. But if you're stuck, there's someone to call. And then, when you get that commission and you see, you've worked and what you've done, and it's not chopped down to that small amount. I think that is one big thing. The other thing is that I find is you're your own competitor. We get these little
Mm.
benchmarks, or these, like, we can cap. So each year, my goal, because I got a taste of 100% commission, and it took me 6 months, I'm thinking, well, damn it, next year I don't want to take 6 months. I want to shorten that timeline. So each year I have, it got down to about 5 or 4. And then you cap, and then you think, well, I can take it easy now. But no, you don't, because then you think, well, if I don't at least get another 10, I'm going to blow this opportunity for
Yeah.
100% commission. So,
Mm.
if you, your family have goals, financial goals, you want to buy a home, you want to pay off this, you want to go on a holiday, you use your numbers for that, not how much is he selling, how much is she selling, or how much do I need to actually reach that? Because anyone's curious, please give me a call and I will openly share with you, what has transpired. So, your own competition, if you choose and if you're motivated enough to do it. So then, you think, well, I can make 10, but then you get to that 10 and you've got months to go. You think, well, if I get another 10, I can make Icon.
Mm.
So to anyone out there, Icon is around 30 sales. And and this is what's really so great. Office environments are usually someone selling that 100, you get your different levels. Commission structures can be different. If you sell 10 and you sell 100, you are treated exactly in the same way in eXp, and you have all the same opportunities. You cannot get better than that. Right. So,
And
and even that is enough to keep you going. So realistic, my numbers are not huge, but look at the achievement. So what did Icon mean to me? If we said we get what, $21,000 worth of shares, so that's 2 years in a row. I have, of course, we don't know what the shares will be at time when I'm wanting to cash in, but I still look at that as a retirement nest egg that's made up for some super. For me, I'm labeling it as holiday money when I do retire, but who knows? I'm probably only going to be a semi-retired in EXP.
Yeah,
So
well, as an agent, you can be semi-retired for as long as you like, and whether you sell 10 or 5 or whatever happens for the rest of your life, you can
absolutely.
continue to do that for a very low cost. And you mentioned, so just on Icon, you mentioned it's $21,000 in shares. So that's a gift from the company for those agents that Icon. A gift in company shares, being a publicly listed company as we are, and you know, Dee's had it twice, so that's $42,000 worth of shares that are sitting there, and that's a couple of very, very good European holidays when you
And
retire.
if I can share that, I missed out on the first, right? It could have been 3. So, so that's why each year then I thought I've got to go more. But what happened was I got to the number, but I had postponements, so they didn't settle.
Right.
So yes, I did sook. And I sooked and I thought, oh, this is so, not worth it. I've got 30, da da da. But then I thought about it later. I thought if I didn't have that to aim for, I wouldn't have, I still made 100% commission on
Mm.
additional sales that caused me to try a little bit harder to
Yes, you could
actually
have dropped.
achieve icon.
You could have slowed down a long way before and not got
I
that
would
additional
have.
100% commission.
I assure you I would have.
Yep.
And same as like this year, I will say, it's talking about the skin of my teeth because I went overseas, as you know,
Yes.
for 5 weeks, and I had one contract. So I was sort of closer to my numbers, and I thought, man, if I get this. And yeah, I had a contract I found out just landed in Dubai, and it fell through on finance. So, I got to London, hugged the kids, did everything. And then I was
Mm.
like this little creature at the night trying to get a new buyer. And I did. I contacted 11 buyers that I was in touch with. And somehow by the last minute, probably one of the conveyancers will tell you about 2 minutes to 5, we got it in before Christmas.
Yeah.
So this, there's a real different energy for any agent who chooses to use this model, and we're
Mm.
not even talking about how much help and assistance we get.
Yeah, well, you mentioned support early and help and assistance. It's hard to quantify and explain to anyone on the outside what the help and assistance or support may be until you're in it and can experience it for yourself. But what, in your words, what would you do? How would you describe that support, assistance, and also the collaboration between other agents?
Oh, yeah. Look, there's so much. I wish that I could be more organized and fit more into my time. But as you know, I renovate in a different state and I'm doing something here, so somewhere. So I have to stick to the basics. And sometimes, you're working on your own. Like when we connect in so many ways on Zooms, and there's so many, I can't even keep up with you all, but it must be the older brain. Is there's just so much. So at times I do have times where I think, if you're in an office environment, you meet people and see people. But because I have so much going on and, if I have spare time, I don't network as much as I used to. So, but from the word go, as I said, just to find out about the business model, there was no pressure from anyone and the 3 people that I mentioned. Then I started, and we were just saying earlier, Kirsten did the onboarding totally back then. And, my computer died just as I was starting. So here I had 3 listings to launch, no idea about this model, had to go out and get a new computer and accessing. So she was really good, held my hand all the way. I'm not the admin IT person. I do what I have to do. I'm self-taught. And yeah, I watch these, all these Zooms we've gotten. And once I get off, I've forgotten all about it. So it's all trial and error. But it's still, I'm doing it. So,
Yeah.
so with that, of course, eXp has grown now and it's brilliant. We have additional people. But there's always been support, and I can remember times, we were just starting and building up the numbers, and then getting frustrated because not understanding, agent box or certain things, or am I doing things right? So from the emotional side, probably I would have to say Lisa B and Emily Morgan have been great inspiration and support to me. But a lot of little things impressed. I remember one night I couldn't get my property. I'm the one that's always got the listing coming in at, needing to be on at 5 to 5 on Friday. And so Kirsten's got a lot stricter with that. Yeah. So, but like who's this? We have a Rob who's in WA. Okay. So they've extended it there. But at that, he's head of state, and he'll still help you and get a listing launched. I had one night, that was a Friday night, and no one was there that I could contact. And Chris Jansen, head of Australia, took time and launched my property for me. The reason we have someone launching our property is because it gets checked over compliance from head office at eXp, which I really like.
Yeah, we have a
So
licensee in each state that checks for compliance. And you mentioned Kirsten, and there's a couple of other ladies, Christine and Rachel, who have listings go live. They check them, they put disclaimers on the text body, things like that, just to make sure that it's all in place for each state. Rachel's actually in Perth, so it gives us a little bit of a later in the day option to
yeah.
get properties live, depending what we're wanting to do. But certainly, the one thing that I know that, if someone does need something done, there are people to contact, like you mentioned, Rob and Chris, and certainly we're all there to help. And that's something
Well,
that,
you have.
yeah, well, that's what
As
I'm here
I've
for also.
Yeah, but you're in Victoria, so as I've expanded the business over, or really excited about two amazing women down there. But that was Victoria, so I needed information from you. I actually listed a property down there that has since sold, and that was again collaboration with another agent who's now back into eXp. And so your help, you were there when I had to get my admin done. And that's just really the way it rolls. Within that, I've seen in the time, the agent Kim that we have down there now, she's had referrals sent to her from another agent that's, I think he's in New South Wales. Don't know where he is. So the collaboration is amazing. The other thing is where I've seen all these improvements in 4 years. So I would be the first one, when we got our newsletter, thanks to you. I do read stuff when you send it, but there has been gradual improvements. Like I think even just now with the way, we have the listings email address, the contracts email address, finance accounts, even that breaks it down and simplifies it. The amount of training, and I'm saying training now, I'm not even talking about, like Lisa B's content. Glenn Twiddle offers training on there as well, part of eXp. We don't pay anything extra for that. Then there's eXp library. Man, I've only had a little glimpse in there as well. So you can't, if you're prepared to do the work, you cannot fail.
Yeah, I think
Do
that it requires a certain self-motivation, that's for sure. Working from home
absolutely.
sounds fantastic, is fantastic, but it's something that takes a bit of getting used to. And that's something I've noticed myself, certainly, after a long career sitting in real estate offices and then working from home. It's a novelty at first, but you've got to have the self-discipline to crack down and still do the work that's required.
Yeah, and then like mine would be far from perfect, but my clients are my priority. So and then working from home, so I'm fortunate I can look out to my garden. There's the pool, not that I really jump in at lunchtimes, but there's butterflies and there's birds, and
Yeah.
sometimes I think it would be nice to talk to a human in here. But and then you have that factor where you can get up and it's from a bedroom, you've done brekkie, you come out, okay, breathe, do your gratitude, whatever you might be doing, and then grounding on the bit of grass. And then it's back, to the office, and you think, oh, I've got the washing in the washing machine, but I have to finish this CMA. So there are those challenges. And I suppose that's what I will highlight. I'm not the most organized person, but I do take on a lot. Somewhere, somehow, I get it done, but I'm choosing to be in this industry. I'm choosing to work for myself under this model. So number one for me, it does come, number one is always, what do I owe people? Do I, have to make calls? Do I have to get any work done? But some days are better than others, and then you get a flow. But I'm now, I think, finding my pace. We've had a good market in Mackay. It still continues. So while that continues, I certainly won't be retiring. But it would be good to see more join us here, because yeah, I'd love to share, what it's made, how it's transferred
Yeah,
my
well,
situation.
it's something that you can certainly share in your area and beyond. So there's no limit to where
Mm.
you may recruit agents from and things like that. So what we've heard is remarkably, at an age that I won't repeat, but for those that may have heard it,
Don't care.
virtually started a career again with a totally new model, not just a different office, but a totally different model, cloud-based, working home. We also heard that Dee's perhaps not the most technically savvy person, so but has succeeded at the top echelon of our company in worldwide. So there's a message in that this is not doesn't require the superstar or the someone who's the 100 sales a year or anything like that. The what we may refer to ourselves as is just an ordinary, reliable, consistent real estate agent can make 100% commission and make a very good living, have a great lifestyle just by changing to this model. So for anyone that's thinking about it, Dee, and looking at eXp or watching this video today or in the future, what would you say to them if they're struggling a little bit with the decision? What's the message from you as to what they should do?
I would love to share my story. When I joined eXp, I had, a number of people. Oh, yeah, you could be talking to other people. I don't do anything or try and encourage anyone to do anything unless I've tried it myself. And now my opinion might not be the same as anyone's. So I've been quiet. Anyone that came in approached me or knew what I was doing and then asked more questions. I think you would be crazy if you didn't actually inquire, unless you're really happy how the income that you're getting, the environment, and it ticks all boxes. I would still dig a little bit deeper to my own psychology with it, because the other thing is there is an amazing sense of pride. I feel very proud of my achievements
Mm-hmm.
from where I've come from, what I've been through, and I don't have it perfect. You didn't throw in poor time management in that spiel about me. So, a good
And
example of
multiple
an under
holidays a year where you're not working and listing and
when you
selling.
listen to everything in real estate and what we should be doing, a good example of an underdog here. But the thing
Yeah.
is, what eXp offers, you don't have to be way up selling 100 a year. This is the message that I would like to get across. And I went years not joining something like this because I don't want the responsibility of the admin. I don't want the responsibility of compliance. Who do I call if I'm not sure? I've just got into the industry, head down, bum up. I want to sell. This is what I really like to do. I meet the people. I really want to help them. My challenges are, can I get them more than what they expect? And, you see that their face change or, young couples have really been hanging out, and you might guide them a little bit and then they end up getting the property. Real estate is all about people. That's on the level of selling. And in our industry, in traditional offices, not all, it's like anything, not all, there is a gap from people and numbers, and you can't help it. If you're running an office, you need your numbers to pay it its way. So I think that, yeah, you need to be self-driven, but there's someone that will hold your hand if you require that. And the goals are not huge, but the rewards are. And
Fantastic.
the one thing that we didn't mention there quickly was the shares that you get along the way. Like when I
Mm,
did my first sale, I thought, what? I got
yes.
this email. I think I don't know, it was at
Yeah.
$600. I haven't even checked what's there. So then, every year you get $600 as a gift in shares. Your first sale, you get your
Yeah.
um, shares. And then
Yeah.
if other people come in, there's heaps more that we could tell, but we won't now.
Yeah.
They'll have to
No, look,
contact
I
us.
really, really appreciate it, Dee. We've kept everyone a little bit over the half an hour, which is just perfect. If
Okay.
anyone would like to contact you to find out more about eXp, what they should consider, details, your journey, what's your phone number and details?
Okay, I'm always up for a coffee as long as it's good coffee, and we have good coffee in Mackay, a lot of good cafes. My number is, look me up, 0409 434 259.
Thanks, Dee. So anyone would like to contact Dee direct, really appreciate your attendance today. We've got some remarkable agents, and you're certainly the very top of that tree of those
I
types of
bet you
agents.
say that to all the agents. I still haven't caught up watching all these videos, but it's really
I'll
good.
get back into it. No, I
It's great to
appreciate it,
hear.
Dee. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
me,
you.
and all the very best for the rest of your anniversary year and
Thank you.
everything else you're doing in your
I will
world
be
at the
saying
moment.
hello from Barcelona and Birmingham.
Yeah, well, there you go. Enjoy that trip. Thank you,
Okay, see
everybody.
ya. Bye.
Thanks, Dee. See ya.